Okay, so in this third video we're going to look at one more example of direct proportion and then move on to inverse proportion. So in this example we can see we've got S is directly proportionate to E, and again the next stage we're just going to put the equals K into the equation. So S equals K of E. We're told E equals 225. We're told S equals 40. So we're going to solve for K or find K. Okay. So divide by 225. So K is going to equal 40 divided by 225, which is going to be 0.1777 recurring. Okay, so that's my value of K. So if I wanted to write this as a formula again for A, S is going to equal 0.17 recurring of E. And that's my answer to part A. S equals 0.177777 of E. B. Find S when E is 900. So again, utilising the formula we've just done, S equals 0.17 recurring of E. Remembering again this is times. Okay, E is 900. 0.17 recurring times 900 is going to give me S. So S is going to equal 0.17 times 900, which gives me, we can see it's 159.9 recurring. 159.99 recurring. Okay. Or is approximately 160. And the final one, rearrange the formula to find E in terms of S. Now, one slight bit of difference in this particular question from a problem solving perspective, we have got the formula we started with, which is S equals 0.17 recurring times E. Okay, and we need to rearrange to get E in terms of S. So instead of being S being the subject, we need E to be the subject. So all we're going to do is we're going to take this and do the opposite. So we're going to divide by 0.17 recurring. Divide by 0.17 recurring. So S divided by 0.17 equals E. And that's the answer to that question. Okay, moving on to inverse proportion. Now, as it says at the top here, 3 builders take 12 days to build a wall. How long does it take 4 builders to build an identical wall? Okay. Now, before we look at the notation, you've got to understand that if we think we've got a wall that needs to be built, 3 people will take 12 days. Okay. So if we had 4 people, that's going to take less. If they're working all at the same speed, have an identical wall, it will take less time because I've got an extra builder. Right. So before we even start, again, looking at the notation, how long will it take 1 builder to build it? Well, it's going to take more. So all I do is you multiply the number of builders by the amount of days. So 1 builder would take 36 days. So let's look at the next part, the notation side. Let's just, okay. So we've got this on here. if I'm looking for the number of days is inversely proportionate, okay, the only difference is my proportion sign is still the same. It's still my little fish. And because it's inversely proportionate, the only difference is number of builders is always the bottom figure is 1 over the number of builders. So to be my inverse proportion, okay, my k goes where the 1 is. So I still put my equals k, but instead of it being d fish 1 over b, it's not going to be equals k of b, because that's direct proportion. Okay. All that happens to the b is it goes underneath. So if it's inversely proportionate, then we're looking k over the thing we're trying to find. And we can see in here we found what one builder would be. We've times this by 3, times this by 3 to get rid of the 3. The 3 cancels to leave k. 3 times 12 gives me 36. Moving over to the right hand side now. We know k is 36, so what would be number of days to 36 for the number of builders? How many days would it take me? So we're trying to find d if we had 4 builders. 36 divided by 4 gives me my 9. So again, all we're doing is multiplying or dividing to find these values. Okay. If the length L of a rectangle is inversely proportionate to W, so again thinking L equals K of W. Okay. We know that K equals 8, so my K is going to be equal to 8. How long will the rectangle be if it's, how wide will the rectangle be if it's 10 centimeters long? So we're going to put 10 there. Width. How do I get rid of this? Now it's very easy to see this bit here. Okay. How do I find W on its own? Well, if you've got a fraction, if you've got a fraction like we have here, okay, and we want the subject of the fraction to be on its own, we can swap these round. So W equals 8 divided by 10. What we actually do is we times this by W, because it's being divided by W, so that cancels. But we've then got to times this by W, so it ends up being W times 10. And then we have to divide by 10, so that cancels, and we divide this side by 10. So we end up with 8 divided by 10. In easy terms, if we've got the subject on the bottom of a fraction and we want it on its own, we can swap whatever is on the left hand side of the equation with the bottom of the fraction, and that will happen in each case. Okay, another one that was on Seneca. Which of the following means x is inversely proportionate? Well, we know x is inversely proportionate to y. So straight away we've got that 1 over y proportionate and x. We know it can't, y is not on the top. We're not wanting to see what y is in relation to being proportionate to. My x comes first, so it has to be in my equation. X is directly proportionate. This is direct. Okay, and this is inverse. That could be a multiple choice question, something like that in GCSE. Right, there are 8 times as many green pens as blue pens. So again, green pens, we're looking ratio this time, 8 to 1. There are 8 green pens, so there would be blue. 1 times 8 gives me 8. And again, we're looking for 8 green. So there's no way it could be the middle one, full stop. And this one, that's saying that there's 8 blue ones. So again, it can't be that one. A lot of that is just reading the question. Next part. Similar question, if L is a rectangle, is inversely proportionate to its width, and we know K is 25, okay, how wide will the rectangle be if it's 5 centimeters long? So we substitute the 5 in for the length. This time again we want to find the width, so we can swap those over. So W equals 25 divided by 5, so W is going to equal 5 as in the answer. Okay. Next one is back to, again, a worded question. There were 3 times as many green pens, so green is 3, green 1, can't be that, blue 3, can't be that, so it gives us the correct answer just by reading the question. What does the A symbol or the proportionate symbol mean in maths? It isn't disproportionate to, it isn't equivalent to. Equivalent is that little okay. So proportionate to is the right answer. Right, and the last question that was on Seneca, which of the following symbols means proportional to in maths? Again, it's just the reverse of this question here, just asked in a different way. It's telling you proportionate to at the top, and it wants you to find the symbol, whereas this one, it gives you the symbol and it wants you to tell it what it is. So same question, just different way around. So looking at the examples. Example 6. Find a fixed volume of water. When a fixed volume of water is poured into a cylindrical jar, the depth D of the water is inversely proportionate to the cross-section A. So the depth is inversely proportionate to the area. Okay, D equals K of A. K over A. Okay, so find a formula. So remember, we're looking to find the K value. So whether it's inverse or directly proportionate, we want to find K. So when A is 40, D equals 120. Okay, so what is the value of K? Remember, this is divide by 40, so I want to times by 40 to get rid of it. Times by 40. So I've got 120 times 40 is going to give me 4,800. It's going to equal K. So I would then just sub that into my formula. So my answer to part A, D equals 4,800 divide by A. Question B. Find A when D is 150. So using the formula we just wrote down there. Okay, D equals K of 40. Equals, 4,800 of A, and we need to find D, find A when D is 150. So 150, 4,800, and A. Remember my subjects on the bottom, so I can swap these round. So A is going to equal 4,800 divided by 150. So A is going to equal 32. And finally for C, find D when A is 60. D equals 4,800 A. So 4,800.